Happening this week and next, the 50th anniversary of the Jewish Book and Art Festival. Authors from across the globe are coming to Houston to share their stories. Joining us now is Ariel Silverman, Director of Research at the American Foundation for the Blind and author of Just Human, The Quest for Disability, Wisdom, Respect, and Inclusion. Ariel, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell us about your book and why you decided to write it.
Absolutely. So Just Human is a memoir about my life, but it's also much more than that. As I was reflecting on my experiences growing up as a blind woman and learning about ableism and teaching other people how to fight ableism, I started to think about these pivotal experiences in my life that stuck around in my long-term memory and the lessons that I learned from them and that other people can learn from them. And during 2020, when I was stuck at home for a while, I sat down and wrote all of those stories up into kind of brief essays and then tied them all together into a book. So each chapter of the book has kind of like a pivotal storyline to it, but then there are also important lessons in each chapter about disability history and psychology and actions that we can take to improve our world.
So in your book, you discuss how blindness has been described by others as a tragedy, a curse, a prison sentence. Can you tell us more about your personal experience and what you'd like other people to know?
So I've been blind my whole life. So for me, being blind is about as normal and natural as, say, not having X-ray vision is for the rest of us. In other words, if you've never had something, you don't really have any point of reference to compare it to other than what other people say about that thing. So I've always been part of a world that has a rich landscape of sounds and touch and smells and tastes and emotions and thoughts and feelings. And I've never really missed the fact that I don't have that visual element, except that it clearly has meaning for other people. So I think what I want people to take away is that everyone's experience is unique. And everyone has their own kind of interpretation of the events that shape their lives.
And you also discuss how everyone should not just be inclusive to those with disabilities, but be inclusive for everyone. The million-dollar question, I mean, how do we get there?
So in my book, I advocate this balance between what might seem like two opposing things. On the one hand, I'm advocating that we need to radically accept ourselves and others. When we meet other people, regardless of whether they might have a disability or they might be a different race or present themselves in a different way than we do, we need to work toward accepting them for exactly who they are, not trying to change them or excluding or rejecting them because of characteristics. But at the same time, we also recognize that we're part of a world that has a history of excluding certain kinds of people. And so we need to be brave enough to stand up against that history and really try to change systems and institutions that have historically left people out. So in terms of things we can actually do, I think it's a combination of, really being open to all of the people around us and what they have to bring. And then at the same time, also speaking out and challenging and standing up for people who are not being treated well.
Be open, be brave, and be courageous. Ariel Silverman, Director of Research at the American Foundation for the Blind and author of Just Human, The Quest for Disability, Wisdom, Respect, and Inclusion. A big thank you for joining us this morning. Ariel will be holding a book reading and discussion this Saturday at 7:30 in the evening at the Murfish Teen Center that's located on South Rice. You can also find her book on Amazon, both in paperback and Kindle versions.